What's up guys, Danny from Danny Mac's Kitchen. Great to see you as always. I apologize in advance for my voice. I'm getting over a raging sinus infection. Feeling much better though. I hear you're hosting the holidays at your house this year. Great, I'm glad to hear it now that mom and dad don't have to do it, a little less stress upon them. And they don't have to do it every year, it's not fair. So what are you gonna make, guys? Are you gonna roast a big pedestrian turkey that nobody wants for the holidays anyway? You're gonna make a big tray of lasagna? No, don't do that. I can have lasagna anytime. You could have it catered. That would actually be pretty hot, but that's gonna cost you a lot of money, so don't do that either. So what are you gonna do? I want you to think outside of the box. I want you to make something that's really gonna show your friends and family how much you love them. And how are we gonna do that, guys? I'm gonna show you in today's episode. We're gonna make a classic beef Wellington. It is super sexy and it has a wow factor of 10. And if you make this, your friends and family are gonna be like, wow, nicely done. So guys, it's super easy to do. Well, not super easy, but relatively easy to do. I'm gonna show you how to do it step by step. It is super sexy. Let's go. So to make this recipe, we're working with beef tenderloin. This is an amazing piece. It's about 1.5 pounds. This is the most tender cut of meat that you can get, and that's why beef Wellington is classically made with this. And what we're gonna do now is just gonna season it liberally with just some salt and fresh pepper. Pat it in there, get it on all sides. And then we're gonna give this a nice sear to really seal in those flavors and those juices. So right after this, get a pan nice and hot, and we'll be good to go. Get a pan really hot, add a tiny bit of olive oil, about 1 ounce, and we're gonna start searing this beautiful piece of meat. About 2 to 3 minutes on each side. All right, so let's take a look. After 2-3 minutes, it should be really nice and golden brown. I'll show you. Yeah, absolutely. Look at that, guys. This is what you're looking for. We're gonna do this on each side. What an absolutely beautiful sear. Look at that golden brown. Now, classically, this recipe is done with English dry mustard, which is really good. I've had it like that, but I kind of like it this way better. I'm using a prepared horseradish sauce, which you can just pick up at the supermarket, and I jazzed it up by adding some more horseradish to make it spicier. And we're just gonna coat this liberally on all sides. And as this piece of meat sits here, it's gonna start to settle. And what it's gonna do is it's actually gonna absorb some of this horseradish sauce into the meat, and it's gonna give it a spectacular flavor. So make sure you cover it nice and liberally. Next up, we're gonna make a mushroom duxelle, which is key for this recipe. And basically, it's just a lot of different mushrooms. I'm using button mushrooms and portobellos. You can use whatever you want. And I'm gonna throw them in this beautiful food processor, which is a Christmas gift. Thank you very much, Brian. Absolutely love it. I have 1 pound of mushrooms that I'm gonna add. I'm just gonna stuff it in there. This is really the first time I'm actually using this. And I'm gonna also add a couple cloves of garlic, about 8, just get that in there. Some fresh rosemary leaves. Not traditional in this recipe, but I like adding rosemary. I like the evergreen flavor that it imparts. And a couple more mushrooms. And let's pulse away. So let me show you the consistency. These mushrooms are super, super fine, very, very chopped. This is what a duxelle is made from. They have to be fine. If there are a couple big pieces in there, well, then you're fired. No, just kidding. Don't worry about it, just leave them. Not a big deal. Yeah, so we're gonna get a large pan hot and we're gonna finish up the duxelle process. I have a large saucepan here that I have pretty hot. No oil whatsoever, and I'm gonna add our mushroom mixture right into it. The reason I told you not to add oil is because mushrooms have a lot of water, and I wanted all the water to be evaporated, and then the oil is gonna be kind of like counterproductive for that. So as you can see, all of the water is now starting to come out, and we're gonna cook this for about 5 to 8 minutes until it's pretty much dry. So stir intermittently. Cook it for like 6 minutes, and you can see a lot of that liquid's burned out of here. So now that I got rid of all that liquid, I'm adding more liquid. What is he doing? I'm adding some red wine to this. This isn't traditional for the recipe, but I think it works really nicely. So I'm gonna add about 6 ounces. So this is looking kind of dry. I burned off all the alcohol from the red wine, but it's got that really rockin' red wine flavor now. So turn off the flame. I'm just gonna let this cool a little bit, and we're gonna start assembling our Wellington, and we're almost done, guys. On my cutting board here, I have lined it with saran wrap, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start arranging the prosciutto in layers, just like that. Be careful with it, especially if your prosciutto is sliced really thin, which mine is. Okay, beautiful. Next, I'm going to take our mushroom mixture and I'm going to start spreading it evenly on top of the prosciutto. Just to get it as even as possible, because you want it to be uniform when the filet mignon bakes in the oven. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the seared filet, we're going to put it right in the center, as so. Now using the saran wrap as your guide, just pick it up from the bottom of the base and just start folding it over, just like that. So this way, the prosciutto and the mushroom completely encompass the filet mignon. Perfect, just like that. And I'm actually going to continue wrapping it all the way up. And I'm going to fold the sides in. And I'm actually going to place this in the refrigerator for about 5-10 minutes to allow it to set. And it's a perfect cylinder. This is what you're looking for because it's going to bake absolutely evenly. Beautiful. I have another layer of plastic here where I put a piece of puff pastry that's totally thawed out. And I'm just going to take some egg wash and I'm just going to start giving it a quick brushing because this is going to help it adhere to the meat when we start baking it. So you only need a very thin layer, as so. And I'm going to take the meat and I'm going to place it right in the center. Now I removed all the saran wrap from this, of course. Okay, and the same procedure, I'm going to use the saran wrap to pick up the puff pastry, get it on top, and I'm just going to start to fold it over. And whatever's on the sides, I'm just going to kind of fold in a little bit, make like a little package deal here. I'm going to do the same to the other side. We're also going to apply egg wash to the outside because as it bakes, it's going to produce like a really cool brown, golden-y color. So make sure you get the whole outside of this covered. And if you want to get a little fancy, as us chefs sometimes do, we're going to make a little score marks on top. You don't have to do this, it's totally optional, but it's fun to do and you can be creative. So just very easily with your knife, just start scoring it, and as it bakes, it'll produce like a cool little pattern, whatever you want to do. Now after we're done scoring this, we're going to throw it in a 375 degree preheated oven on a lined baking sheet lined with foil. And for perfect medium rare, we're going to bake this for 10 to 14 minutes depending on your oven. Okay guys, let's take this out of the oven. Looks amazing, I can see already. Beautiful. Look at that lattice work on top, told you. We're gonna let this rest for about 5 minutes before cutting. It's called carryover cooking. You're gonna cook it like another probably 10 degrees as it sits here. So don't even touch it or all the juices are gonna come right out if you slice it right now. So be patient guys, hard work. So I allowed this to rest between like 5 and 10 minutes, which is pretty much the norm, and I'm gonna basically cut her open and let's see how we're looking. This is an absolutely perfect medium rare, guys. And I'm gonna provide a little chart in the description with the recipe, and it's gonna tell you, what temperature it should be for a perfect medium rare. If you want medium or rare or well done, it's all gonna be there. So definitely check that out. But this is what I'm talking about. Enjoy, guys. So the only downfall that I can possibly come up with this recipe is the fact that you're probably going to be hosting more holiday dinner parties in the future if you make it, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. It's a great thing. Give this recipe a try. You're going to love it. It's awesome for the holidays. And seriously, this is so much easier to make than a gigantic tray of lasagna. Am I right? Your friends and family are going to love this. It was super easy to do. And the great thing about this recipe is if you want to, you can make it 2 or 3 days ahead of time, keep it in the fridge, and when the day of the party comes, bam, right in the oven. You don't have to worry about it. If you enjoyed today's presentation, guys, please share this with your friends and family on social media. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel now for the best weekly video recipes. Happy holidays from Danny Mac's Kitchen. Great seeing you.